it don't take 10 years to know if you want to spend your whole life with somebody.
How long does it take? About 7 and a half?
Every pod I come in here and talk married, they think I just come in here talking because I'm never going to do it. That's what people think.
Oh, no, he going to do it.
That's not, I didn't get that.
No, he going to do it.
That's not, I didn't get that.
Mark and Brian can't be at the same table.
Well,
there's so many people that can't even be at the same table anymore.
We'll be fine. By then, me and Brian will be good.
Marc Lamont Hill is out here calling out and low-key tearing down Joe Budden's whole relationship setup. And listen, it's been wild to watch. The last few episodes have basically turned into a mental chess match. And right now, Marc is the one landing the clean hits. He keeps clowning Joe on stuff the viewers already side-eye every week, pointing out all the little things everybody notices but never says. Joe's had this longtime partner, this quiet love interest in the background since the Rory and Mal era ended, which already tells you how deeply she's woven into his life. But now Marc is dragging him for constantly teasing marriage, talking about it like it's right around the corner, while never actually doing a thing to make it real. And the audience is finally like, hold on, yeah, he really never follows through. So Marc has been firing off joke after joke, little digs, playful shots, and trust me, they've been connecting. Like, let's rewind to that Big Sean moment. Remember when people were cooking Big Sean for not marrying Janae Aiko after all those years? Well, Joe hopped right on that wave, acting bold, completely ignoring the fact that he lives in the biggest glass house imaginable. He was asking, why'd he waste her time like that for so long?
On the girl's side in this, but it don't take 10 years to know if you want to spend your whole life with somebody.
And that's when Marc Lamont Hill swooped in and dropped the kill shot. Like, so Joe, how long should he have waited? 7. How long did you take? About 7, 7.5. Joe looked stunned for a second, then hit that little smirk he does when he's trying to laugh off a truth bomb. And honestly, as a content guy, he might have been cool with the moment. But let's be real, he knows his girl listens to every episode. She's absolutely gonna catch that clip, and she's absolutely not gonna love the way fans spin it. And trust me, we're gonna talk about that part later. But here's the thing, Marc isn't the only one taking playful swings at Joe's love life. Imani called him out too a while back, basically pressing him with, why are you always calling me out for not being married when you won't walk down that aisle either?
Oh, you still single niggas to hurry up and get married? Y'all still here with me? We still in the same couch. For 3 on this pod that can even play around with that. The rest of y'all need to just keep it quiet.
And then it's you.
So that don't stop wasting time. Go get married.
So what you're watching unfold is a whole pattern running straight through the show. This is the quiet message underneath everything. And honestly, I'm starting to feel like a lot of the cast doesn't believe Joe is ever actually going to follow through on this marriage talk. I mean, just look at this moment right here where Joe Budden starts complaining that he turned all the marriage conversations into content, which is exactly why folks think he's never tying the knot.
Because I speak so open and freely about it, so I'd rather not speak open and freely about it, and I don't want my partner to feel like I think it's a joke, because I don't think it's a joke. And I love you, baby, if you're listening.
Aww.
Marc Lamont Hill is over there cracking up, poking fun like it's nothing. Oh, no, he's definitely doing it, he says. Nah, for real, he's gonna do it. And then he doubles down like, yup, he's totally doing it. But the way he says it feels more like, child, I know this man ain't doing a thing. Then Marc fired off another shot on a recent episode. This one came right after all that tension between him and Brian McKnight, when Marc interviewed Brian McKnight Jr. and his arranged wife. Joe Budden started tearing into Marc about how messy that whole situation was. He even joked that Marc won't be allowed to sit next to Brian McKnight at the wedding. And Marc just smiled and said, don't worry, we'll be good by then.
Marc and Brian can't be at the same table.
Well,
there's so many people that can't even be at the same table anymore.
We'll be fine. By then, me and Brian will be good.
Man, it is getting downright chaotic on that couch. And honestly, is Marc even wrong for saying any of this? He's just voicing what a whole lot of people already think. But as I mentioned before, Joe's girl definitely listens back, and I really do feel like the wedding topic hits a nerve with her, because I cracked a joke on Twitter once. I posted that meme of LeBron James making it to the finals, losing, and walking off the court with no ring.
LeBron James congratulating some of the Warriors, and we'll get a standing ovation here at Quicken Loans Arena.
Now this was my way of drawing a comparison to that whole rumor about Joe flying out to Greece or wherever to finally pop the question. He didn't propose, and of course the internet went wild with it. Then Joe came back acting shocked like, oh, y'all really thought I was proposing? And he brushed it off with, something wild happened. Y'all are tripping.
Nigga.
2, I came up here and just lied on my girl. Just because it's fun.
It is fun.
Yo, she don't understand that part.
It's
fun to just lie on them, but my girl was not expecting me to propose. It turns out.
Now, even with Joe hinting that something wild went down, I still genuinely thought they were finally heading toward marriage. But nope, it didn't happen. And the moment I dropped that meme, she absolutely snapped. She called me everything except the Bible verse. That was the moment that made everything click for me. Like, she is way more sensitive about this topic than people realize. She cannot stand anyone joking about it, which becomes messy because the main person making these jokes is doing it on a huge platform with millions watching. What she's really doing is redirecting all that frustration onto me because she can't publicly aim it at the person she's actually upset with. Maybe she lets it out privately. Publicly, not a peep. She hops on spaces and stages talking about, I love my man down, my man, my man, my man. Let's see if that energy shifts into her throwing shots at Marc Lamont Hill. I can only imagine the way she talks about him when the cameras are off. And what does Marc Lamont Hill even think about the way she feels about him? Then there was that other super uncomfortable moment when Joe Budden started explaining some situation where she's always checking his phone. And he tried to frame it like everything was cool while the whole cast sat there like, nah, bro, that doesn't add up.
I ain't going in my phone like a regular girl.
I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's going through my phone.
I do.
That's a dub for me.
Marc jumped in like, yo, I don't want anybody digging through my phone. That's straight up violating my privacy. And even Parks chimed in like, yeah, that was weird. The whole thing turned awkward real fast because Joe Budden started twisting himself into knots with that self-serving logic he does. He tried to flip it into some moral high ground. He hit him with, oh, but what about transparency?
You should not go.
You shouldn't be going for. That's not a level of transparency, though. That's cap.
Wow.
That's not a level of transparency.
How so?
So the rest of the cast basically hit him with the, all right, man, you got it. They didn't say it out loud, but you could see it all over their faces. Like, bro, we'll let you rock because this is your show. Their whole vibe was, we're fine with you living in that little fantasy bubble since the title literally says The Joe Budden Podcast. And that right there shows how unintentionally Joe's own platform is putting a magnifying glass on his relationship. Sure, he keeps insisting everything stays behind closed doors, but the way Joe Budden's brain works, stuff always spills into the culture and onto the ears of the audience. The show loves to pretend it only shares what it chooses to share. But just like a baddie trying to hide her groupie tendencies, they always end up revealing more than they meant to when they talk. Another layer to all this is that his girl isn't a background extra anymore. She's officially part of the Joe Budden universe and actually hops on the mic now. Her presence in Podwives cemented that. She gave up a lot. How their partnership works, how she feels about his strip club routines, how certain things rub her the wrong way. There was one thing she mentioned that I'm not even touching right now. I heard it and was like, whoa, now that was something. Maybe I'll bring it up another day. But I can't shake the feeling that eventually she's going to build resentment if the outcome she expects doesn't happen. And let me go ahead and make another prediction. I don't think Marc Lamont Hill keeps this running joke going. Because once the fans amplify it and start pointing out what he's doing, he's not only going to back off for their sake, but also because he doesn't want Joe flipping out about him flaming his girl. Only time will tell. And trust me, in my comment section, this whole relationship saga has become a full-blown debate. Some folks swear, stop talking about it, nobody cares. Yet those same people are the ones watching every beat to see what happens next. It's not even nosiness. It's because the podcast itself has kept this topic alive on air. They've been diving into it deeply for 5 or 6 years straight. That entire storyline is basically its own spin-off universe. I usually stay out of it because honestly, I try to avoid poking around in the pod relationships. I typically just leave it alone. And even when I do comment, it's super light. So I never go too hard with it. I mostly keep my takes surface level. But with her now being part of the actual show and getting discussed nonstop, plus Marc cracking jokes left and right, I'm sitting here like, okay, this might actually be a lane I could explore, but I probably won't. What I really wanted was to break down why Marc is firing all these shots, and I can't even be mad because it's funny. Honestly, I think he should keep going though I do feel once fans clock the pattern, he'll chill. But tell me what you think in the comments. Do you feel like Marc Lamont Hill is going too far, or like Rashad Bilal from Earn Your Leisure said, he's not going far enough? I'll keep updating y'all as more of these moments unfold if they do.